Okay. Welcome everybody to Employment Services and Opportunity. Today is November 18th, 2020. All right, so before we start, just wanted to quickly go over what you've probably received in your emails either last night or today. Besides the meeting information, which got you in today, there should have been 3 links, one for a PDF copy of your resource book. There was a link map that was in there, and then there was also instructions on how to use the chat. With the chat, we're going to, actually, I'll talk about that on the next slide. We have a quick webinar for you guys today based on employment services and opportunities for veterans here in California. Once we're done with our presentations, we'll go into a virtual questions and answers panel where we'll use those questions that you had to facilitate that part at the end. So this is what that chat document looked like that you received in the email. Just basic instructions on how to actually utilize the chat feature here on Zoom. Like I said, all questions for all presenters, please direct them here. We'll use those at the end. My name is Michael Cisneros. I'm a training coordinator with the with CalTAP, which is a program for the CalVet. I'm going to quickly go over the CalTAP program and how they actually work with veterans and service veterans here in California. So what is CalTAP? Well, CalTAP is a transition assistance program that is designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to the earned state and federal resources, as well as provide continuous support as their needs change over time. So what we've done is we've created pathways that help our veterans navigate through those benefits. Those pathways are an entrepreneurship pathway, an employment pathway, which we will kind of briefly discuss today. There's an education pathway, and then there's also a general core curriculum pathway, and that has benefits that don't fit into those topics that I just mentioned. Our 5th pathway is a service provider pathway. I won't touch on that today, but if you do know anybody within your community or have any friends that want to work with veterans, direct them to our webpage. There's resources out there that can help them get into those kind of or reach those goals. That PDF that you received for the veteran resource book, this is what the book looks like. If this was an in-person presentation, you guys would each have a copy sitting in front of you. But since we're doing this online, we're just directing individuals to our website, or we're sending them out the PDF version. This is gold for veterans. So everything that we discussed regarding California benefits for veterans can be found in this book. I would definitely recommend taking a look at it if you're not familiar with what's available to you. You can also find this information on our website. There's at calvet.ca.gov. In the middle of the screen, you'll find the CalTAP banner. And if you click on that, that will take you to our pathways page. Before we go into the pathways, I quickly want to explain what we've been doing since April of this year. If you look down at that bottom, there's that archive link. When you click on that link, it's going to take you to a page that has our past webinars. And so all the webinars that we've presented for the different colleges here in California, or even just webinars that we've put on ourselves, can be found right here, along with the PDF of the PowerPoint. So if you need information regarding mental health services, or you want to see more about the California benefits, check out some of those webinars to get that information. All right, so how do you use CalTAP online? Well, at the pathways page, for this example, we'll go ahead and click on core curriculum pathway. And on the core curriculum pathway, it will take you to a modules page. And modules page, on each pathway, you're going to find a bunch of different information. For the core curriculum, you see information about claims and compensation, the VA healthcare system. I believe there's a citizenship module down at the bottom. But if you click on module 5, that will show you your California benefits. California benefits this information can be found in a PDF document that looks like this. I believe it's called Core Curriculum Overview link. But if you click on that, that will take you to a PDF document that breaks down each benefit for you. But if you want more detail about that benefit, I would definitely recommend going to your resource book. So let's quickly talk about what those benefits are. This information, like I said, can be found in your resource book, chapter 1, page 13. And then there's also the PDF. So one of the main ones or most popular benefits that we get our veterans asking about is the college tuition fee waiver. Now, the college tuition fee waiver is for dependents of the veteran, child dependents of the veteran. For the veteran actually has their own education benefits to utilize the GI Bill. And so with the college tuition and fee waiver for child dependents, this actually saves the veteran at $35 million a year in the veterans $35 million a year in tuition and fee costs. This benefit can be used at any UC, CSU, or California Community College, and they do look at the child dependent's income level. Now, with this benefit, there are 4 different plans: Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, and Plan D. We see more veterans fall into Plan B, and this is because Plan B requires a disability rating of 0 to 100. And because the veteran can have a disability rating between 0 and 100, it's just a broader spectrum for them to fall into. If you do have a spouse that wants to take advantage of this benefit, there is a way that can happen. You just have to find out if you're eligible for Plan A, Plan C, or Plan D. We've also partnered with the DMV to make it easier for individuals to identify as a veteran. So now an individual can have the word veteran printed on their driver's license. And that makes it so that they don't have to carry around sensitive information in their pocket, like the information that can be found on your DD Form 214. Honoring Veterans License Plates program is open to everybody in California. You don't have to be a veteran to participate. But these are those license plates that you see driving around that have, a military logo on it or a branch logo on it. All proceeds for this program actually go to veteran services across California. And then there's also a motor vehicle registration fee waiver, which I won't touch on too much because the requirements are kind of extreme, I guess. It does require a disability rating at 100, a total disability rating at 100, and your disability does have to limit your mobility. But if this is a benefit that you feel you're qualified to have, then I would definitely recommend speaking with your local county veteran service office, and they could talk to you more about the eligibility requirements. For those of you who like to be outdoors, if you have a 50% disability rating and an honorable discharge, you have the opportunity to have a reduced fishing and hunting license at a reduced cost. And then you're also able to enter into state park passes. And I believe now you can enter into federal parks for free. Tax programs. We have tax programs for our disabled veterans who would like to start their own business, or even property tax programs. I'm not going to talk about these because they do differ across California and different counties. But what you'd want to do is speak with your local county tax assessor, and they could talk to you more about eligibility requirements. Home loans program. The CalVet home loans program is different than the VA home loans program. Pretty popular program. We have somebody who usually does these webinars with us. His name is Brad Pedersen. If you're in the market right now for a home and you want to look into the home loans program, please reach out to me. I could definitely pass Brad's information on to you. He loves helping veterans out. He loves this kind of work, and he's a valuable resource. For our women veterans, we have a program that offers information, advocacy, outreach, and support. And there's also a roster that the veteran can sign up on to get more information regarding some of the webinars and outreach opportunities that the department is going to offer. So if you go to their webpage on CalVet's website, you can find the Women Veterans webpage, and you can also sign up for that email list right there. For our minority veterans, we also have a program that provides outreach, advocacy, and support, and then they also help with naturalization services. So the minority and underrepresented veterans webpage can also be found on our website. All right, and so these next two things, you're probably not worried about homes for long-term care right now. But if you know you have a family member that's a veteran, or if you know anybody in your community that needs these kind of services, there are homes for our veterans all the way from Chula Vista down south to Reading up north. These homes offer everything from, medical, dental, rehabilitation services, and also social activity services. And the cemeteries, again, you're probably not thinking about this right now, but there are 3 different veteran cemeteries in California. One in Seaside, California, which is right outside of Monterey. There's another one in Redding, and then the Yountville Veterans Home Cemetery, which is right outside of Napa. With the Yountville Veterans Home Cemetery, you do have to be a resident of that home to be buried there. So, if that's not the case, then you may want to look into the other 2. All right. So before I finish this out, I want to talk to you about some common websites that you, as a California veteran, should be familiar with. The VA.gov website is kind of like a hub for veterans who need information regarding the VA healthcare system, or if you're trying to file a disability claim, or even just view your education records or your military records. This website will direct you to where you need to go. And there's also eBenefits. eBenefits is a pretty good website if you're actually taking advantage of like claims and compensation or education benefits. This website, when I was a student, I was checking in on this website daily, monthly, and even every semester, just to make sure that my classes were being certified, my BAH was getting paid out, and then also getting disability compensation. And so I could also check this website to see what's going on with that too. And if you're taking advantage of the VA healthcare system, there's My Healthy Vet. On this website, you can view your health records, you can talk with your primary care physician, make appointments with them, and also refill prescriptions. Okay, so that's a quick overview. Like I said, there's more benefits out there for you. Check out that resource book, or you can simply email me, and I could definitely direct you into the right direction. So I'm going to pass it on to our local interagency network coordinator, Anthony Rodriguez, and he's going to explain how they assist veterans here in California. So take it away, Anthony.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you with us this morning and a pleasure to work with COC. I want to let you guys all know that we're going through the benefits pretty fast because we're trying to get to the main topic, which is employment. And we're going to have some experts talk about that in a little bit. So we want to give you a flavor, a taste of some of what we do. We're not getting into any detail, but as Michael said, should you have questions or you want to talk about anything in particular, you're welcome to call, and I'd be happy to speak to you as well about any of these programs we'll talk about. All right, so I'm the local interagency network coordinator. So I am the regional field agent for CalVet that actually lives in the field, one of 8. Next page, please. That is here to help you wherever you go. So as you can see on this map, CalVet has invested the time and energy in placing people throughout the state who are veterans, or most of us are veterans, but whose job it is to kind of infiltrate the local communities and services and benefits so that we are better able to serve veterans and their needs, to connect with whatever they may need. Now, I'm in the bottom portion there in turquoise, and I'm responsible for Los Angeles and Ventura counties. I have approximately between 250 to 300,000 veterans who I kind of oversee and assist us in any way I can. The benefit of this page for you is that if you have family or friends or buddies in other parts of the state, you have now a name and an email address where you can connect with them regarding state benefits and even federal and local benefits. So these individuals are going to do what I do and help you connect, whether you're a staff member of a school or a student, to all the benefits that you may want or need. Next page, please. So my position, in my position, I do an awful lot of outreach, as I'm doing right now. I make referrals. I work directly with established service providers. So rather than just give you a name of an entity or something I've looked up on Google, chances are that if you have a need, I have a direct name or phone number with someone that I've already worked with. We also work with local emergency in the local emergencies as a part of the um, Office of Emergencies Department, OES services, and we provide leadership locally as we kind of represent the state and assist anywhere that we can. Next page. Now, this is probably the most important page for me. And this is where I can help you. Sometimes I get asked, what do you do? When would I need to give you a call? And this would be it. So if you have specific questions on the differences between VA educational funding and state funding, I'm a good resource. If you in general want an overview of how the VA works, I can help you there. And again, I'm not the expert and know everything about all things, but I've got a pretty good understanding. And if I don't know, I can certainly direct you to somebody. In terms of benefits, what's the difference between federal, state, county, city, nonprofit, locally? Where do I go for each? I can help you there. Do you have contacts, if you were to ask me, do you have contacts with healthcare, with mental health care, with employment specific to where I live, or education to where I live? I could probably help you there. And as Michael said, the differences between home loans, while I'm not a home loan officer, we all use Brad, and I can give you an overview and some of the differences between the federal and the state program. Now, this program that you're in now is called CalTAP. CalTAP has many kinds of formats, many kinds of ways that they do them, that they present them. This is one of them. And if you have questions about that, I'd be able to help you there. As a member of the Region 6, 7, and 8 Veteran Resource Center consortiums, I have contacts with all of the Veteran Resource Center directors in those areas. So lots of them who do what Renard Thomas does. Shout out to Renard for doing a great job, and help you connect with them should you need help. Obviously, you'd want to go to Renard. He's the guru on that, first of all. Distinctions between benefits with National Guard, Reserve, active duty, overall CalVet benefits, and some assistance with employment. So next page. So those are some areas I'm touching on that I can help you with. This is my contact information. That is my work cell. You're welcome to take that and give me a call should you have any questions locally. And there's my email. So I'll turn it back over to Michael. Thanks, everybody. And I'll be here at the end should you have questions.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now I'm going to quickly talk about the employment pathway that we have. Our employment pathway focuses mostly on employment with the state. It's kind of like a little plug that we have. So that's probably what you're going to get most out of this part. So this also can be found on our website. The employment pathway can be found at calvet.ca.gov. When you click on that, you're taken to the modules page. As you see, the modules page has everything from information on how to effectively job search, how to have or how to personally appraise your skills, and then also interview techniques. There's a module on state employment, federal employment. So check it out if you get a chance, if you're interested in any kind of employment with the state or with the federal government. So this slide kind of this slide actually could go for anybody, no matter where you're trying to apply. So the first thing you want to do when preparing to apply for any job is you'd want to create a master resume. Your master resume is not going to be sent out. It's basically going to be a document that lists all your job history and all the duties that you've done in the past. And what you do with that document is you use that to create a target resume. Your target resume is what you're going to send out to whatever job that you're applying for. And when you do make your target resume, you want to make sure that you're matching terminology. And so what you're doing is you're taking the terminology from your job description, and you are putting that into your resume wherever it's applicable. So after you've created that target resume and matched your terminology, You'd also want to have a list of references ready, which you could keep on your master resume too. Always make sure that you're letting your references know that you're using them. It's not really professional if they get a call from an employer asking about you and they don't know anything about what's going on. Just always know that your federal resume is going to be different. I believe that's going to be more pages, at least 6. And this is because they're asking about clearances and any other kind of certifications that you may have. And then also find out if the company has veteran preference points or veteran points or veteran preferences. So you also want to just be realistic. You have to understand that, you're coming out of the military, you're coming out of a position where, your seniority and your status might not translate to the same exact thing in the civilian world. And so you have to understand that you may need to make adjustments. You also want to consider the competitiveness of your market and relocate if that's necessary. So think about where you're trying to work. Is there anything available there in your town or your city, or do you need to think about commuting, or do you need to think about moving across the state? So these are just some things that you want to think about in order to make yourself more competitive. And then also just don't get discouraged. This is all applying for jobs, interviewing, resume writing. It's all skill. It's all a skill. And as you do it more and more, you build up that skill and it becomes stronger. So just, don't be discouraged. You will find your place. State and federal employment. For federal employment, you'll want to look at usajobs.gov. Federal employment does offer veteran preference. There's 5 to 10 points. And then also they participate in veteran recruitment appointments, which just makes it so that you're less competitive when applying for these jobs, or you don't have to deal with the competitiveness when applying for the jobs. So this is what that website looks like. You can click on create a profile right there and start searching. So how do you get those federal veteran preference points? If you go to fedshirvet.gov, you'll find the link there on the side. Down at the bottom of that page, you'll find the standard form 15, which looks like this. You'll fill this out and then you'll send this you'll attach this with your resume as you send it in, your application resume as you send it in. State employment. So this is where we talk mostly about working for the state. We are a state agency, the California Department of Veteran Affairs. And so, this is why we're doing this. California State is the largest employer. There's over 150 agencies and state departments all across California. The department offers great salary and benefit packages, and there's vast career opportunities. Once you get into the state, you can move sideways, backwards, upwards, however you want to go. And it's stable work. Once you hit the probation period, and once you're done with that, you're pretty much set. I know when I was going through what we were just going through, I was a little nervous thinking that I was going to lose my job because I was one of the newer ones who got onto the team. But as a state worker, that wasn't something that I needed to worry about. And, for the most part, we just, had a loss in pay, but I got to keep my job. So that's what I'm saying with stability. It's really hard, or it's there for you. They have your back. Some benefits of working for the state. There's the CalPERS pension plan, some Saving Plus plans. One thing that they're really known for is their sick leave, the vacation, and the military leave, and which I'll talk about a little bit right now. So the Wounded Warriors Transitional Leave Act is there for veterans with a disability rating. With your disability rating, you're actually granted 96 hours of sick leave right away. So you don't have to wait 6 months to start taking advantage of your sick leave. And these hours are there for you to do any kind of doctor's appointments or anything that helps you out with your rating, with your disability. So how do you get started working for the state? Well, the first thing you want to do is create a profile at jobs.ca.gov. Once you've created that profile, then you're going to apply for veteran preference points. Once you have those veteran veteran preference points assigned, then you'll search for the job. Whichever job you do find, you just want to make sure that you're looking for the assessment or the exams and make sure you're taking them and passing them. And then also preparing for the hiring interview. So veteran preference points, those are automatically puts you at the top rank. So if you think about the hiring ranks, if there's 3 different ranks, what veteran preference points does is instead of putting you in the first rank, it's actually going to create a whole new rank for you. So veteran preference puts you at the very, very top. So almost like rank 0. So you'll basically you're getting an interview right off the bat. And so if you have an honorable discharge, just look into that and send that information in. This can be found on calcareers.gov. If you look at the veterans link right there in the middle of the screen, it will take you to a page where you can find the application, which looks like this. You'll fill this out and you'll turn this into Cal HR, and they can go ahead and apply those veteran preference points to your application process. This can only be used once too. So whether you're using it to get into the state or you're using it to promote in the state, you can only have one time to use it. So what is an exam? Well, there's 2 different types of exams. There's the open exams and the promotional exams. Open exams are for anybody who wants to get into the state or anybody who wants to move around in the state. Promotional exams are just for current state employees. However, as a veteran, you also get to take advantage of the promotional examinations if they're open. The different kinds of exams that we find, there are the online examinations, written examinations, which online examinations you see mostly. These are where you basically have a self-appraisal. Supplemental exam, kind of where the candidate completes a set of questions that relative to his or her experience or education. And then there's also the education and experience. So one thing that you want to really pay attention to is a statement of qualifications. On your duty statement, there will be a section about your statement of qualifications that you really need to pay attention to. This is how the state screens out the applicants for those individuals who don't pay attention to the rules or who just bother not to add a statements of qualifications. They automatically get rid of your application. So this is a narrative discussion of your knowledge and skills and abilities. It's just a way for them to screen criteria and select the most qualified candidates. And like I said, the instructions will be on the job bulletin. So if you look on the side, there's an example right here. When I say pay attention to the rules, I really mean it. This one says no more than 2 pages, 12-point font. So that's how critical they are of what they want to see. So this provides a hiring manager with the sample of your writing skills. It tells the employee how well the applicant can align their experiences with the job that they're applying for. And a well-written statement of qualifications will get you in the door to any interview, and an interview will be your gateway to the job, obviously. So some writing tips: pay attention to the details, prepare your response in a concise, complete, and clear manner. Follow all specified instructions, include any volunteer work, personal side business, or internships, and allow yourself enough time to complete the statements of qualification to eliminate any room for error. And just remember, your resume does not take the place of a statements of qualification. So like I said, if you are not attaching this document, they will get rid of your application. So after you have all that information and you have your application and your statements of qualification ready, then you want to prepare for your hiring interview. So study the job announcements and duty statements, review the websites, get familiar with the department that you're going to be applying for, because you want to be able to relate your experiences and knowledges to the essential duties and desirable qualifications for that position. And then just make sure you're reading all instructions. So in summary, first thing you want to do is create that master resume. That's going to help you create that target resume following that. After you have those done, then you'll apply for your veteran preference, take any necessary exams, apply for the jobs, and then participate in the hiring interview. There's some resources for you to have, just so you could get more familiar with what's going on with the federal government and the state and how to get those jobs and where to go to apply. Our employment chapter can be found on chapter 6, starting on 175, page 175. So again, that's my contact information. If you have any questions about state employment, please feel free to email me. I'm a new state employment. I've been with the state for about a year. So, if there's some information that I don't know, I do have colleagues who have been here for longer than I have, and could definitely find those answers for you. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Kyle Pennington. Kyle is with the Employment Development Department, and he's going to talk to you about employment or veteran employment services. So go ahead, Kyle.
Thank you. So my name is Kyle Pennington. I'm the local veterans employment representative with EDD. EDD is broken up into 3 major components: workforce services, where I work, disability, and of course, everybody's heard of unemployment with EDD. It's kind of a popular thing right now. So in short, Michael, did you have my slide deck by chance?
Yeah, it's ready to go. So you'll just let me know when you want me to move on, and I can move on to the next page.
That's cool. Thank you. Next slide. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, so this is me. I was in the United States Army I actually retired from the United States Army. Medically, I was in for about 16 years. I was an infantry officer with deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan and Central America. When I got out of the Army, luckily, I was able to team up with some people that really knew what they were doing as far as filing my disability claim with the VA. I'm a 100% service-connected veteran now, and being 100% service-connected has opened a whole bunch of different doors for me as far as education and benefits is concerned, so much so that I was able to go back to school and get my master's degree, and I didn't pay anything for it. It was all used through Chapter 31, which I'll talk about here in just a little bit. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So in every county across the state of California, there's what's called the America Job Center of California, or AJCC. And what that is, it's a big one-stop place you could go to receive services as far as employment services, resume writing, interview skills type things like that. And a whole host of other resources are available to you there. As a veteran, when you go into this place, identify yourself as such, and there's a veteran team associated with each one of these locations, similar to what I work on, that will pretty much give you the royal treatment. So you won't have to wait in line like everybody else. If you need to file a disability claim or an unemployment claim, you go to the front of the line, and there's a expedited process to get your claims put together as soon as you identify yourself as a veteran. So they're really, really cool resources, and we take care of veterans as best we can in these locations. Next slide, please. Next slide. So I use this presentation for a couple of different things, not just these types of webinars, but the big 3 things that I talk about a lot is your VA claim. If you haven't filed a VA claim, do so. I think every veteran who's served in the military probably has some sort of hearing loss. So that's a tough one for the VA to argue against tinnitus and hearing loss. And in most cases, it's a 10% service connection right off the bat. And that goes really far, as Michael was talking about. But there's certain benefits to you as a veteran, starting at 0% service connection with the state of California. I'm going to talk about veterans preference and e-benefits just a little bit later on, and some of those other topics you see right there: Cal Jobs, the education benefits, and resume and interviewing. Next slide, please. So Cal Jobs is a big job search engine similar to Indeed or Monster. The cool thing about it is that it's tailored to help veterans out as best as possible. So there's what's called a 24-hour veteran hold on Cal Jobs. That means that when an employer posts a job there, it's placed on hold for 24 hours for only veterans to see. So you kind of get the first crack at it. There's a virtual recruiter tool in there where you go in, you set your specifications for what you're looking for, and you'll be alerted on your smartphone if a job that is similar to what you're looking for comes available. Next slide. Cal Careers, Michael already talked about this a little bit. In the program that I work in, we specialize in putting veterans back to work for the state of California and the federal government. Cal Careers and Michael touched on this a little bit. I'm not trying to steal his thunder by any means. Cal Careers is a big quirky website. You're going to have to spend some time in building your packet in there, and it's cumbersome. I'm not going to lie. I'm a state employee myself and had to go through this process. And we're here to help you. So I've already posted my email address and contact information in the chat. If you're interested in state employment, please give me a call, and in greater detail, I can walk you through this process. There is a priority of service, a veterans preference program through the state of California, and we'll get into that here in a couple slides down the way here. You have to upload a bunch of documents, your DD-214, your resume, cover letter. I'll recommend that you upload that stuff. Exams, Michael touched on that. If you're interested in state employment, when you take an exam, it's not like a test, like you got to buy a book and study for it by any means. It's more of a self-assessment. So when you take these exams, they're scored out of 95 points. And so what you want to do is ensure that you score 95 points on the exam. Some of the questions or most of the questions are very self-relevant, meaning you're going to know the answer to the questions. They're not difficult at all. So be sure that you score 95 points on the exams, because with a 95 score on the exam and your veteran's preference, it makes you very competitive for any position that you're applying for. Next slide, please. So this is a slide, snapshot taken from Cal Careers, and it's talking about the Cal HR form 1093, and that's the veteran's preference form. So I would highly recommend and urge any veteran right now, even if you're not interested in state employment, to fill out that form. There's directions on where to mail it on the back of the form. You mail it with a stamp and an envelope to the address in Sacramento, and in a couple weeks you get a little memo back that says you now have veterans preference for the state of California. I tell veterans all the time, even if you apply for other jobs outside of state employment, make a copy of that letter and throw it in the packet that you're using to apply. A lot of employers think it's pretty cool, and they'll give you veterans preference even though they don't have an established veterans preference program. Next slide, please. So USA Jobs is where you go to apply for federal employment. So they have a priority of service, the veterans preference program as well. And Michael touched on this, is based out of points. It's a little bit different. And that determination on if you get 5 or 10 points is kind of determined based on your disability percentage. The federal resume is a lot different than what you'll see on the state side of things. It's longer, and the major difference is they require you to put the hours worked and the amount of money that you made in every job that you list on the resume. That's the biggest difference, besides the length between the two resume sets. Next slide, please. And this talks about the SF-15, your DD-214, and how to get the veterans preference points for the federal system. Next slide. E-benefits. E-benefits is a pretty amazing tool. When I first separated from or retired from military service, e-benefits wasn't a thing. So if I wanted to get a document, I had to call a 1-800 number and request it from somebody, and then hopefully they understood what I was saying, and in a couple of weeks, it may or may not have showed up in my mailbox. Luckily, e-benefits is here, and it puts a whole bunch of resources at our fingertips. Next slide. So that's the information required for you to build a profile in there. It's all pretty self-explanatory. Next slide. Next slide. And that's what your, go back one, please. And that's what your desktop looks like when you get in there. So that's actually mine. You can see there's a whole bunch of different resources along the left side there. If you need a form, or if you're trying to rent an apartment or buy a house, or you're applying for some sort of loan or this or that, and you need a letter certifying the amount of money that you get paid per month due to your disability, there's a letter generator there where you can tailor it to just about whatever you want with whatever information that you want to put on it. So it's a whole host of information that's at your fingertips. We really urge veterans to have accessibility to this, especially down the line if we're going to be providing services for you. Next slide, please. Excuse me. Education benefits. So the partner program stuff, that is in the AJCCs, which I touched on earlier. There's state employees like myself that work for the EDD, and then there's some sort of partner organization that works there. And the partner organization just really depends on the county that you live in. So they're usually grant-based or private organizations. They provide employment services just like we do. Some of them are tied in with specific employers. So there's a whole lot of training opportunities available at these places. And a lot of the opportunities are kind of like forklift driver, like truck driver certifications and licensing and stuff like that, different trainings that you can get at no cost to you. There's a Veterans Affairs programs, of course, the Montgomery GI Bill, post 9/11 GI Bill, and then Chapter 31 Vocational Rehabilitation. Chapter 31 Vocational Rehabilitation is something completely different than the post 9/11 GI Bill. We help veterans get into this program because I think it's a pretty amazing program that isn't advertised a whole lot for some reason, but it is a little quirky to get in there. There's an application process and an interview that you have to go through. So if anybody has any questions about Chapter 31, please give me an email or give me a call, shoot me an email, and we can talk more about that. Of course, the college fee waiver, which Michael already talked about, and then the work study program. While you're going to school, if you're using any of those above Veteran Affairs programs, you meet the prerequisite to work as a VA work study. So you can go somewhere that does veteran-centric things like the VA hospital or like my office. I have 10 work studies that work with me right now, and it's pretty cool. You can work up to 25 hours a week, and it's a benefit, so it's non-taxable income as well. Next slide, please. So resumes and interview, I'm gonna breeze through this real quick, so I don't mean to bore anybody with it, but what this graphic shows is that out of 1,000 resumes that are used to apply for a job, about 800 of them are eliminated right off the top by some sort of scanning software that's going to go through looking for terms and words and stuff like that. And that's before an actual human being actually lays eyes on your resume. So it's important that your resume, your cover letter, if you're looking for employment in the state sector, your state application template, all have the appropriate phrases and words within them. Next slide, please. These are a couple of different resume formats. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We prefer and we help veterans put together the combination resume format, which I believe is the one that's on the right. The major difference between the two is that the combination resume format kind of tucks all of the dates that would be found throughout your resume in the end of it, on the second page or at the bottom of the first page, depending on how much work experience you have, so that if you have any white space, because you went back to school or because you took some time off when you got out of the military, it's not very apparent to employers. Next slide, please. Yeah, go ahead. Next slide. Next slide. And so what this is a resume that I helped a veteran put together a while back. This veteran in particular had been incarcerated for I don't know, 10 years or so. So he got out and he wanted to apply for this grocery store stocker position. And those are screenshots taken directly off of Indeed. And what you'll see is the verbiage that's used in the job posting, we took and pretty much translated it and stuck it right into his resume. And that's the verbiage that the employer understands, and that's what they're looking at. So he ended up getting this job. He's promoted up and done really well for himself based on this little resume that we threw together. It's kind of cool. Next slide, please. Military language versus civilian language. In your resume and when you go to interview, you got to be kind of cautious of this. And I'm pretty bad about it, being a former infantryman myself. But you want to avoid jargon, acronyms, and so on and so forth. I always tell veterans that once you think your resume is good to go and you're getting ready to apply for a job, take it to somebody who's never been in the military before and let them review it. And if they have a question about anything, don't be so stuck on it that you're not willing to change it. Just change whatever it is, because more than likely the human resources department of wherever you're applying is not going to know what the acronym is or what the verbiage is that you're using. Next slide, please. So case management. So I work as part of a team. I'm what's called the local veterans employment representative. I do a lot of outreach. I'm out talking to employers and educating employers on the benefits of hiring veterans. The other member of my team is what's called a DVOP, and he is essentially a case manager. So if you're looking for employment services, you could be brought on our caseload for case management. It's not like case management at the VA hospital by any means or anything like that, but we're going to help you find a job. We're going to help you find employment one way or another, whether it be through preparing your resume, helping you with interview skills, walking you through the state and federal processes, the private sector processes. I work in the Fresno area. I cover 3 different counties: Fresno, Madera, and Kings County. And within those 3 counties, I partner with over 1,000 private industry employers. And the cool part about that is I know what the individual employers look for in resumes and look for in applicants. So we try to best prepare our veterans to be successful and to be competitive in any job that they apply for. Again, we specialize in the state employment. We really like to put veterans to work for the state. It's a pretty good fit. There are responsibilities on your part if you do elect to be case managed by us, and it's pretty simple stuff. You just got to communicate with us. If we get you an interview set up, please show up to the interview looking the part, smelling the part, walking the part, looking the part, and then your resume. We'll help you get your resume put together, but we're not going to lie on your resume. We're not going to put facetious information on your resume by any means, and it's going to be a document that you're going to have to speak intelligently about. So be sure that you know all the ins and outs of the stuff that's on your resume. Next slide, please. And that's my contact information. I urge anybody, granted I'm not in your area, but I can definitely team you up with my counterpart who's in your area. If you're interested in state and federal employment, give me a call. My counterpart and myself will walk you through the process, which is pretty tedious otherwise, and it's kind of difficult to do on your own. So my information is in the chat. Please feel free to reach out with any questions you may have. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate that. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to our last presenter, Kevin Rogers. Kevin Rogers is from Work for Warriors, and he's going to let you know how they work with veterans across California. So go ahead, Kevin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Kevin Rogers, 10-year Marine Corps vet, here to help you get the job that you're looking for. Next slide, please. Our mission is we assist service members and their families, as well as veterans. So whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your kids, auntie, uncle, whatever, they need help finding jobs. Our job is to find people jobs that are connected with the military. That is our mission. That is our goal, is to make sure that you're taken care of via employment. Next slide, please. We have what's called a direct placement model. So what this is like is that it's one of those big headhunter firms that you pay, or an employer pays thousands of dollars to find individuals that have the credentials and the skills needed. The difference between us and those headhunters is we don't charge anything, and we're funded by the state and federal government, and we're part of the California National Guard. Next slide, please. So what do we offer to our veterans? Again, direct placement. We find the employer that's looking for your skills. We match you together. We help you put together that resume, and then we connect you with that employer. Once we get you to the interview, like everyone else says, it's up to you to score in that interview. We can lead a horse to water, but we can't make them drink. And that's the same concept. We can get you to an interview, but what you do in that interview is going to be on you. So, but we do help you. We'll prep you for that interview. We'll help you with your resume writing. We'll find you the free guard card class that you need. Make sure that your social imaging is looking good, i.e. your Facebook, your Instagram, all of that. If you look like all you're doing is partying and having a good time, an employer probably ain't going to want to look at that too favorably. However, we'll help you make sure that that looks good. Industry-specific workshops. What does that mean? So if you are looking to get into, say, the HR field, but you don't have that one credential that you need to be an HR guru, we partner with people like Fry University, I hadn't got all the numbers back yet, but it was over 100 people that were there. We had 20 employers. So it was a great hiring event. So we host those to make sure that you get in front of employers once you got your resume squared away. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is our website, www.workforwarriors.org. So when you get to our website, this is what's going to pop up. You're going to click Find a Career. Next slide, please. And in this next slide, you're going to see the keyword and the location. So if you're looking for HR jobs, you're going to, in the keywords, you're going to put HR or human resources. In the location, you're going to put what you're looking for, and then you're going to click Find Jobs. This is what's going to populate. So you're going to have all the things that are listed. In this case, it was Bank of America Financial Center Manager. And then you're going to click that if that's what you're looking for. And this is your job description. So this is what Bank of America was looking for that job posting. Make sure you read that. Make sure your resume is tailored to what they're looking for. If it's not, you're not going to get through their automated system or their electronic system that kicks it out or accepts it based on keywords. Once you do that, put your resume together, make sure it's good. You're going to click Apply Now, and then you're going to go through that little process and upload your resume. These are some of the major companies that we work with. Atlas, AT&T, over that hump, we do work with some entry-level positions just to bring you in some money. This is our social media platform. We have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, and we have, I forget the other one. Anyway, go through, look at us, like us, share us, all your friends. Make sure that they know that this that we post. Next slide, please. This is our contact information. This is where we're located. However, I'm down in San Diego, but we are throughout the state. If you're looking for a job, email us at apply@workforwarriors.org. If you're an employer and you're looking to hire people, email us at hire@workforwarriors.org. Or if your employer that you currently work for is looking to hire people, shoot us an email. We'd be more than happy to work with your employer. Next slide, please. Do I have any questions?
All right, yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the virtual questions and answers panel. Thanks, Kevin. Just hang on for a little bit. Let's pull up these questions and see if there's anything for you or any one of the other speakers. This is all of our contact information for everybody who has spoken today. So feel free to take a picture of that if you need any information or resources for any one of us. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chat right now. Give me 1 second to just go through it and see what we have.
Did you want me to go through the ones that we have, Michael?
Sure. Yeah, sure. This is Jen. She is also a training coordinator with CalTap. Yeah, if you want to help me out with the questions and answers, let's do it.
Great. So we have a question from Dale Peterson. He said, how long is the probation period for the state of California?
Probation period, 6 months. 6 months for probation.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got through with it too, so I should know that, right?
I actually think it depends on the job. I think with CalVet it's 6 months, but I looked at other jobs before I came on and they were a year, but I think it's between 6 months and a year.
Exactly.
I think doesn't that depend on the type of, like, the classification?
Right. I was looking at AJPAs on all the positions I looked at.
Oh, okay. So 6 months to a year you could expect, depending on which position department you're going into.
Great. Thank you so much, Anthony and Michael. Another question is for EDD. It says, are the EDD offices open right now?
Just for Kyle. Kyle, are you still available?
Well, I can talk about the ones that are around me, and I have contact with the EDD leavers and DevOps, but and they're, at least in my area, they are working in their offices, but they're not available to the public. So I think they're doing remote or appointment work at this point. So you'd have to, um, uh, in order to contact them, you'd have to know their number or call the office and try to set up an appointment to get a hold of them.
And then we also have a question from Jeff Weeks. He says, hello, the question is for the group. With assistance to help find vets employment, does the service extend to helping finding businesses for service members to take advantage of the DoD skill bridge, internships, and apprenticeships? So I would assume that's for Kyle?
I think Kyle jumped off too.
Yeah.
At least in terms of the skill bridge, that's the program where prior to getting out of active duty, you can work up to 6 months and get paid with your particular unit. And I know that in the Los Angeles area, we're doing some work with the LA County Department of Human Resources, and they're trying to connect the bases with that program. So that's something that's being done. We're kind of helping that out, and I would think that that's done individually with each location in terms of how they connect. I know the leavers and DevOps definitely, that's their job, is to connect with employers, as well as Work for Warriors. They have a big profile of a lot of employers that they work with on a common basis.
And SkillBridge also has a website also. So just Google skillbridge.gov, and then you can find a lot of information about the SkillBridge and the internships and apprenticeships with that also, for employers and for service members. Let's see. So somebody asked, average time in a hiring process for the state. That can vary. I guess I'll take this one. That can definitely vary on what's going on, if there's any hiring freezes or whatnot. Pretty much the average, I would say 6 months to a year. Would you agree, Anthony and Michael?
Yeah, I definitely, this is my first state position, and, for myself personally, it went a little bit faster than usual, but I have to say everybody that I spoke to about that was pretty surprised, because like Jen said, on average, it usually takes about 6 months to actually get into a state position. Just because you're waiting for them to actually start the hiring or start the application review process, or you're just waiting for them to close the application process down. So it does take some time, but you just have to be patient, and it will come.
And that leads to excuse me. Yeah, let me just jump in. I think that leads to a good point in that if you know somebody in the California department that you want to work, that can be a great save, because then they can let you know when there's going to be openings and when there are openings. And in my particular case, the person who had the job previous to me kind of tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, I'm about to leave. Would you like to apply? So I was, that cut down my time, because, he had a referral to who would then be my boss, and that made a big difference. So if you know the agency, or that's on the private or the public sector, if you know somebody who's already working and they can put a good word in for you, that can make a big difference and really cut down the amount of time it takes to get a job. Sorry about that, Jen, you go ahead.
No, and I also want to recommend that you guys take advantage of the, if you're going to school still, you take advantage of that VA work study. That also gets your foot in the door also. But I would have to say that as a veteran, it's definitely shorter than, somebody coming off the civilian sector. So, so you can start seeing interviews within like about 6 weeks. You can start taking those you'll start seeing those interviews and start doing those interviews. So all right, so so this is from Jose. He says, my name is Jose. My question is it safe to say that I should stay with VA programs, then try to get with the American Job Center? I'm currently working with a rep from there. I'm not quite sure what he's asking.
I think he's asking
Anybody
kind
wanna
of
step in?
the best way to go about to find a job, and here's the way I would do it if I was looking for work now. I would apply with as many reputable employment organizations as possible. That is public and private. HACCs have often they're run by a service provider, a private service provider, and they will have a contract to hire so many people, get jobs. So that's a real good one to use. Work for Warriors is another one. So Work for Warriors is going to grab certain kinds of jobs, and they're going to have a good relationship with those. Another organization is going to have another group of jobs. So I'm going to try to find the agency that has the kind of jobs that I want at the level that I want, and not just put all my eggs in one basket. I'm going to look on the private side. I'm going to look on the public side. And I would try a lot of different things and see where you get a good answer. The thing to be careful about with the AJCCs, if I may say, is that the AJCCs, America's Job Centers, have contracts that are Department of Labor that are then come through the state. They have goals. They have to sign up so many people, send so many people to school, employ so many people. They have to stay employed for so many months, and so on. And so sometimes these AJCCs will want the veteran to sign up in their program, even though they don't have money for training, or they don't have a particular job link to what the vet wants. It's because the agency is trying to meet their goals in order to renew their contract. So we're like consumers. We're like buying a car. When I go to a car dealer, I don't have to buy from the first dealer. I can go look around. If the guy wants to know, well, how much do you make and what do you want to buy? And, I don't have to tell him anything. I can tell him what I want. So I can shop around different agencies that are looking to help me find a job and go with the ones that I feel the most comfortable. So be a smart consumer with what you do. I think if you do that on the private sector and the public sector, I think then it gives you the best chance or a better chance to land the job that you want. Also with apprenticeships and volunteering, those are also some good ideas.
Great. So Antonio, you have your hand up. Let me, Antonia, ask, I'm so sorry. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna lower it and ask to unmute you.
Hi everybody, hey, thank you for hosting this event. I'm Adibab, a disabled veteran outreach program specialist in the Oceanside in San Diego County. So I know what the work for warriors are, because I have some vacancies from some guys there that are forwarding these vacancies to me. So I work with them as well. But anyway, some of your questions about the last question is basically about Chapter 31. Chapter 31 is basically those guys that have services from the VA. And what happened was we have an MOA with the VA that anybody who participates in that VRNA program, Voc and Rehabilitation and Employment Program, that we are part of serving them and provide job searches, resume, and all that as well. So as Adiba, my job is basically case management. And if we put somebody, one of the veterans, on case management, that means those veterans have to have like significant barriers to employment. Barriers to employment is basically like service-connected disability, veterans age 18 to 24, Vietnam era vets, okay, homelessness, low income, release from incarceration. Those are some of the SBEs that we're providing services for the vets. So when those veterans come to the office, that AGCC, like one of the questions was a while ago, is the American Job Center open? It is closed right now. It has been closed since March this year because of the pandemic. So most of us work remotely. I go to the office like once a week, like on Tuesdays, to just show my face there. But most of the time I'm working from home, but I still service of my clients while working from home. So the good thing about doing this and service for the veterans is basically when the veterans come and tell you, hey, Tony, hey, I found employment with this company. My position title is being an instructor and all that. They're paying me about 115,000 a year. So I said, wow, 115,000 a year. I don't even pay that with the state of California. So, but you know, those are the glories that you're gonna find with these veterans who you help, and then they tell you and say, hey, I find employment. So, but you know, I work in Oceanside. I'm gonna put my information there about my email address, my phone numbers at least. If somebody from Southern San Diego County gets in touch with me, I can be able to respond to the questions and all that.
All right, thank you, Antonio.
Thank you. Thank you. So we don't have any more questions, but I do want to bring your attention to the chat. We posted the survey link there. So if you guys have a moment to fill that out, we would greatly appreciate it. We value your feedback, and it really does. We fully intend on implementing this to make this as beneficial to service members and their families as possible. Right here that we've just, Michael's just pulled up is our upcoming webinars. So these are the webinars that are coming up, and we want to remind you that to find these, you just go onto our website. I'm going to put that also in the chat on where to find it, but you'll see where the upcoming webinars are through Eventbrite. You can sign up, or you can also find our past webinars, including this one. They'll be put on our website with the PowerPoints.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to just say real quick before we move from this slide, as you can see, some of these webinars are taking place with college campuses. You don't have to be a student at these colleges to view these webinars. You could just simply go to our registration page and sign up right there, and you'll get the login information in your email.
I wanted to also mention someone left a message for me, and I don't know if I was able to respond. I tried to, and if anyone out there needs to speak to me, please give me a call after the meeting. I'd be happy to help them.
Cool. All right, thank you. All right, so that's pretty much it for the day. I wanted to thank you all for taking the time to be with us today and understand what's out there for you as a California resident and a California veteran. If you have any questions for either one of us, please feel free to give that number a call or email us, and we definitely will direct you into the right place. With that being said, we are done for the day. Thank you, and thank you for your service, and see you at the next one.
Hey, thank you, guys.